If I put 10 broke people and 10 rich people in the same room, blindfolded, and only let you listen to them talk for 5 minutes, I could tell you which ones were going to end up wealthy. Not because of what they own, not because of where they went to school, because of one thing: the sentences they use to explain their own life. That's it. That's the whole secret hiding in plain sight. Not a stock tip, not a side hustle, a pattern of thinking that exists long before the money does. Today, I'm breaking down the actual psychology behind people who start with nothing and build real wealth, the internal shifts nobody talks about because they don't make good highlight reels. Stick with me, because by the end of this, you're going to hear yourself in at least one of these. Let's start here. Every self-made person I've studied, every single one, went through the same invisible step before the money showed up. They stopped seeing themselves as someone trying to get rich and started seeing themselves as someone who is already the kind of person wealth happens to. That sounds like a mindset poster, I know, but psychologists call this possible self theory. You don't act your way into a new identity, you believe your way into it, and the actions follow almost automatically after. Think about it. A person who believes, "I'm bad with money," will avoid opening the bank app. A person who believes, "I'm someone who manages money well," checks it weekly, not because they suddenly have more money, but because their identity demands the behavior. The rich from zero person rewrites the identity first. The bank account catches up later. And here's the part that trips people up. This identity shift usually happens quietly, alone, long before anyone else believes it. Nobody claps for you the day you decide you're a different kind of person. You just start acting like it on your own, with zero proof yet. Second thing, and this one surprises people. They don't avoid discomfort, they schedule it. There's this idea that self-made people are just naturally disciplined, like they were born with some extra willpower gene. That's not true. What's actually true is they've practiced tolerating short-term discomfort so many times that it stops feeling like sacrifice and starts feeling like identity confirmation. Every time they choose the harder, slower path, reinvesting instead of spending, learning instead of scrolling, waking up early instead of hitting snooze, they're not white-knuckling it. They're proving something to themselves. And that proof compounds, the same way money does. 10 small proofs become 100. 100 become an identity that doesn't need convincing anymore. That's the part nobody puts in the highlight reel. The unglamorous repetition before anyone was watching. Nobody films the version of you that goes to bed early on a Friday to protect tomorrow morning. Here's a myth I want to kill right now. That rich from zero people are just fearless risk takers. They're not. Most of them are quietly terrified. The difference is how they calculate the risk. When you have nothing, the psychological trick is realizing the floor is already low. If you start at zero, the risk of trying something and failing often just returns you to zero, not below it. That reframe alone unlocks action for a lot of people. It's not that they've calculated a bigger upside than everyone else. It's that they've correctly calculated a smaller downside. So it's not that they don't feel fear. It's that they've done the math on what failure actually costs them, and it's usually a lot less than their imagination told them. Most people overestimate the cost of trying and underestimate the cost of never trying at all. That imbalance alone keeps entire generations stuck. Next, and this is the one people resist the most, they audit their environment ruthlessly. You are, statistically and psychologically, an average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Self-made people figure this out early, and they make hard, sometimes lonely decisions because of it. Not out of arrogance, out of self-preservation. Being around people who normalize ambition, who talk about building instead of just surviving, rewires what feels possible to your brain. It's not motivation, it's exposure. You can't aspire to something you've never been close enough to see clearly. If everyone around you treats a certain ceiling as the maximum, your brain quietly adopts that ceiling as fact, even if it isn't. That's why so many self-made stories involve someone moving cities, changing jobs, or quietly outgrowing old friendships. It's not betrayal, it's biology. Your brain is built to match the room it's in, whether you consciously choose that or not. Last piece, and honestly, the most important one. How they talk to themselves after failure. Psychologist Martin Seligman called this explanatory style. When something goes wrong, most people explain it as permanent. I'm just not good at this. And personal. This is who I am. Self-made people, almost without exception, explain setbacks as temporary and specific. That approach didn't work, not I don't work. That one-word shift from I to that attempt is the difference between someone who tries again in a week and someone who never tries again. It sounds small. It is not small. Run that shift 100 times over 10 years, and you get two completely different lives from the exact same starting point. It's not positivity. It's precision. They're just more accurate about what actually happened. Failure becomes data instead of identity. And data, unlike identity, is something you can actually use. So if you're starting from zero right now, no connections, no capital, no safety net, here's what I want you to actually take from this. Change the identity before the income. Practice discomfort on purpose. Recalculate what failure actually costs you. Audit who you're closest to, and change how you talk to yourself when things go wrong. None of that requires money. That's the whole point. The psychology comes first, every single time. The zero doesn't stay zero for long after that. If this helped you see something differently, that's exactly why I made it. I'll see you in the next one.